Hey there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this episode of Review Flicks, we're going to dive into Mission Impossible 8. We're going to talk about everything that's going on with the movie. It looks like production has been delayed due to an on-set malfunction with a set piece involving a huge submarine, which has pushed the production back by weeks and costing the studio a lot of money. So we're going to dive into that story and see what's going on and why the budget has also ballooned to a massive proportion. So this article here comes to us from comicflicknews.com. So, major production setback hits Mission Impossible 8, budget said to be nearing $400 million. That is an insane amount of money to produce a movie. To put that into perspective, if we go over here and look on Wikipedia, if we look down the most expensive movies ever made and look at the production costs. So, if it's true that Mission Impossible 8 is nearing $400 million for its production budget, that would put it just behind Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker and just in front of Fast X. It would be the fourth most expensive produced movie of all time. That shows you how much the budget has ballooned on Mission Impossible 8, if it's true, which is just ridiculous. Again, the fourth most expensive movie ever made, if this news is true. And wow, that is just crazy. How it's going to make any money back, I have no clue. So let's go down and break it down anyway and see what's going on here. So, the Mission Impossible franchise can't seem to catch a break. Production on the 8th installment of the blockbuster action series has reportedly been delayed again due to a set malfunction. So, according to the Mirror, Paramount has pressed pause on Mission Impossible 8 following a malfunction with a £23 million submarine. Sources close to the production revealed that the gimbal, which is used to lower the 120-foot high structure, jammed under its weight and now requires repairing, pushing the filming back by weeks. So, quote, "They're not happy as it puts production behind, which costs a lot of money per day." Yeah, I mean, you've hired all these extras, all these writers, producers, you've got on-set crew, all of the production cost, everything going into it, and for every day they're not filming on set, it's costing the production studio more and more money for every day that they're not filming. And wow, I can imagine that production cost just increasing by the day. And while they're waiting for the repairs on this big submarine, production piece. So I can understand that. I bet they're absolutely fuming about this. And at this point, like I said at the beginning, how they're going to make any money back on this movie now is is anybody's guess. But this is not good. So this is not the first delay for the highly anticipated 8th Mission Impossible film. Production had previously been set back due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. Yeah, so, wow, this is insane. So it got hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, it was hit by the Writers Guild of America strike, then it was hit by the actors strike, and now a production submarine set piece has malfunctioned, resulting in another delay and setback. So this movie is just cursed from the outset. And yeah, nearing $400 million. It sounds all the more plausible when you put all this into perspective, which we just read. But again, $400 million, I just can't wrap my head around that production cost. Later last year, Christopher McQuarrie has stated that before the strikes, around 40% of the movie was shot, and that they were done location shooting in Africa and the Arctic. He also added that the biggest and most complicated sequence of the film had yet to be shot. Yeah, that probably involved the submarine, and now they're going to have to be waiting on the submarine to film that part of the movie. And wow, just, yeah, the production cost is going to go up. People are waiting around. You're having to pay people when they're not doing anything. And this is all kinds of disastrous. So, announced in January 2019, Mission Impossible 8 will conclude the storyline that began in the 7th movie, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. In this two-part saga, Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt and his IMF team embark on their most dangerous mission yet, locating a two-piece cruciform key that can control an advanced AI known as the Entity. Dead Reckoning Part 1 ended with Ethan securing both halves of the key, and Mission Impossible 8 is expected to focus on the IMF agents' race against time to stop the Entity before it's too late. Yeah, say what you want about what's going on with the production of Mission Impossible 8. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning was such a fun film. I had a great time with it. Tom Cruise, he always brings the heat in these Mission Impossible films. I love this franchise, action-packed, great Hollywood blockbuster movies. There's always fun to be had with these movies. And Tom Cruise doing his own stunts as well. And yeah, it's just absolutely A-class, action-packed Hollywood cinema. But yeah, it looks like the franchise has taken a turn for the worse. Let's hope they can get it back on track and kind of resolve these issues in a timely manner. But still, if it's going to cost them 400 million, maybe it's a lost cause. But they still have to put the movie out. They've shot a huge percentage of it, so they can't just shelve it because they would lose even more money. So, Mission Impossible 8 adds new cast members. So, guys, if you want to have a read of the cast list here, have a pause of the video and read the cast list for yourself. I'm not going to go through the names because I'll butcher all the names. So, like I said, have a pause and read it at your own leisure if you want to. So, going down here, Mission Impossible 8 remains without an official title. Yeah, this was another thing that happened with the franchise as well. This is interesting here, guys, for those of you who may not know. So, Mission Impossible 8 was originally titled Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2. So, we had Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Dead Reckoning Part 2. But the subtitle was dropped in October of 2023, much to the disappointment of fans. This decision likely stems from the underperformance of Dead Reckoning Part 1 at the box office. So they kind of went to panic stations after Dead Reckoning Part 1 came out, the latest movie. They kind of went to panic stations, decided to drop the subtitle, and now Mission Impossible 8 is kind of a nameless kind of title. We don't know if it's going to be called Mission Impossible 8. Is it going to have a different subtitle? But whatever's going on, they dropped the Dead Reckoning Part 2 title, which tells you something that's going on there behind the scenes. So, where are we? This decision likely stems from the underperformance of Dead Reckoning Part 1 at the box office, despite earning over 560 million. So for most films, that is a really good box office, total worldwide figure right there. 560 million, that's nothing to be sneezed at. That's a great sort of box office total. But for a movie that cost nearly $300 million to produce, that is not a good box office total whatsoever. They lost money on the movie, and that kind of makes you understand why they dropped the Dead Reckoning Part 2 title, because they want to get away from Dead Reckoning Part 1. The movie's costly production budget of 291 million, excluding marketing. So if you put marketing on top, let's say they spent 50, 60, 70 million, that would bump it up to nearly 350, potentially 360 million, the overall cost of Dead Reckoning Part 1. And there's no way they made a profit from that movie, obviously. Meant it did not turn a profit for Paramount. So it was pretty disastrous by any way you look at it. So Dead Reckoning is streaming on Paramount Plus without Part 1 in its title. So they dropped it from the streaming name as well. Dead Reckoning now streaming on Paramount without Part 1 in its title. So they dropped the Part 1 of the actual other movie. So that's very interesting. It appears the studio is attempting to downplay the connection between the two films. Given the box office and given the disastrous results of Dead Reckoning Part 1, that absolutely makes sense. They want people to wash their mouths of that Dead Reckoning Part 1. They don't want it to be associated with this newest Mission Impossible 8 movie. So I get why they've done that. Possible to avoid deterring potential viewers who might not want to watch only half of the story. So, the untitled 8th Mission Impossible film is scheduled to hit theaters May the 23rd, 2025. So, that comes to us from The Mirror. So, it's due to come out in about a year's time, but with all these setbacks and delays and this possible issue with the submarine needing to be repaired on the set, it could push the movie back even further. So, we could expect delays to come out in the press within the next few weeks or so. So, we'll have to keep our eyes open for that, guys. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on. So it looks like the budget could potentially balloon up to 400 million, if true. And they're having this huge malfunction with a submarine set piece, which is costing them more money by the day for every day that it's not repaired and they're not filming, which is disastrous. But guys, I invite you, jump into the comment section here. Let me know what you think about all this latest news and information regarding Mission Impossible 8. Is it something you're looking forward to seeing, or do you not really care about it? Whatever your thoughts are, pop them in the comment section. Can't wait to see what you have to say as always. Hit that like and subscribe for more of these videos, and I will see you in the next one.